Next thing we want to talk about is variables. There are like you've heard the words class variable, class global variables are there. I'm not even going to talk about that. Yeah. And local variables are there, and then instance variables and class variables, class instance variables. So few types are there. So this is a simple game world. I'm trying to create a game world. Like and there is a thing called planet, class called planet, and there is a class called aliens basically. And I'm trying to keep account of how many aliens are in the planet, and a particular class of aliens from which planet they come. Like there's a class, or there's a base class called alien, and all the instances of that class called alien, no matter how many instances you create of this class called alien, they are going to come from a certain planet. So we are all, for example, here all are in a way alien, but we all come from a single planet called Earth. We are all but different in a way. We are all different instances of this class called human, but we have the same thing, that is, we are all come from Earth. So that distinction is there. Then there is a count called alien count, which we can probably move into the planet. So
contrived example. So bear with it. We just want to show those different kinds of variables.
Yeah. So it's not visible so much now, but at the rate when you instantiate a planet class, then there is a Earth planet.new Earth, and when you pass this Earth, that gets assigned to this variable called @name equal to name, and that red color thing is nothing but an instance variable. So each instance of planet has access to that variable actually. So I can say Earth.name and I'm going to get 40 plus 1. So that is your instance variable. You can think of instance variable as they exist in Java, C++ as well, pretty much same analogous. They are bind to instances of objects, not classes themselves.
This is actually an interesting exercise to quickly try out, right? Okay, which object would we be in when this line is running? Anybody? Like, which type of, which class would the object belong to? Would you? Here, this line. When this line gets run, right? It's running inside an object, right? What is the class of that object? Planet, right? How about this? What is the class of the object?
Class.
Perfect, right? This is a bit weird, so I want you to talk about it. Back with this guy.
Alien.
Is it? Self.
Class.
Okay, I need to talk about meta.
But for now we can assume that the class is class actually, because the meta classes aren't created just because of self dot actually.
And this, same as this one, right? Right?
Alien.
This would be an alien.
Make sense?
And the ATAT is the weird one that honestly isn't used that often and is kind of, it can cause, I mean, it has a lot of the same problems that you have with static variables in Java or anywhere else. And it also behaves inconsistently from the other variables in that, you know, when you subclass it, you still have access to it. There's like some weird stuff around that. Like, I don't want, like, let's not go there, but it's worth reading. Like, but generally I would say that. Oh, you've got it? Oh, great.
Just one question. Is that part of the scope of elaborating on self?
I think we are okay. We will plan to. So when you define self dot something in general, you are defining. Okay, you are defining something in the when you say self. It's there are in. I'm not sure if you want to talk about. There are two things in Ruby always that are available. One is the class defining scope. Defining is called. It's defining and the defining class scope. There are two things. Defining. Who is defining it? What is self at that point in time? And the defining class. Self and defining class. These are two different things, okay? And I would recommend a source rather than which explains this better.
Yeah, we could probably send an email with the link if it's not already.
Yahuda
But we could talk about this for like 10 more minutes.
better than Yahuda Kat, what is her name? The girl who contributes to Ruby Core. Yupuvi San or something like that. She has written a very nice explain the concept of a defining class and self. So whenever you are inside I think we need to talk about self. You cannot avoid it. So in Ruby, there's always a self object actually. Whenever your code is executing, there's always a self. Like when I created earth equal to planet.new, and inside the initialize method, that's a constructor, self is basically what? Self is an instance of that planet class. That is self. Okay. When we are calling here in the alien class, when we are saying self.makeAlien, that method we are defining, your self is nothing but the class itself, which is the alien. Make sense? Inside here, so Sidhu talked about what is the class scope here. Here the class is planet, here the class is class, here the class is class, and here the class is alien. So that is your defining class scope. It dictates where the class is, where your method is defined. There is also a concept called self, which dictates whatever you are writing, whatever variables that you are declaring, the instance variable, where do they go actually? Okay? So the distinction is important. The methods are dictated by what is your defining class, and instance variables are dictated by what is your defining self actually. What is the self in that? So when you say here @name, self is this guy, earth object. Okay? When we are saying here self.makeAlien when we are doing this, in that case self is this alien object. It's not class, it is this alien object itself here. So anything that you define here as an instance variable with single is basically an instance of this. It goes as an instance variable in this bag. Let's call this alien guy a bag, and it holds a lot of instance variable. In this bag, this variable goes. This position, on the other hand, it is not in this bag directly. It is you create an instance of this alien, and that instance of alien class, this variable goes inside that bag.
So this is I know like it's still a little vague and confusing even with the explanation, and that's kind of why Hemant was saying it takes a bit of time to assimilate this. Right? The moment you internalize automatically that alien is just another object, and you internalize that code, you look at it and be like, okay, yeah, I get it. Until then, it will be a little confusing. So don't worry too much about it, but
yeah.
So this alien code is an instance of class.
alien is an instance of class.
Pardon, sorry?
Alien code variable is an instance of
No,
class.
sorry, alien code. Sorry, come again, which?
Alien code variable.
It's an
Alien
instance.
count,
It's
sorry.
an instance variable. It's an instance variable that belongs to class alien. How do I put it? Let me, if I have a whiteboard, I can explain it. But let me try it by the interpreter. Like, say there is I define a. Let's say I define a class called like alien and n, or define a class called alien. Now alien itself is an object, right? Correct? Which is an instance of class. And the count that I have defined
Do an
here.
instance variable. Or add do an instance variable here or add.
Yeah, exactly. This is what, but
So instance variable get is one of those other API methods I was talking about that allow you to inspect stuff. I mean, you shouldn't use it in your day-to-day.
So the code is, you can ignore the instance variable get part of, but the point that code tries to drive is that this whatever you define with single it belongs to self, whatever the self was. And self is like a bag, being whatever bag you're carrying for shopping bag, and each time you define an variable, that thing goes inside this bag.
The only
It's more like a state of alien, right?
Yeah.
In that case.
So I guess a brilliant analogy going with shopping bags is everything is a shopping bag except that there are some special shopping bags which can create new shopping bags. Everything is a shopping bag. A special subset of the shopping bags are capable of spawning new shopping bags. Those are your classes.
You're always holding a self is your shopping bag. Okay, self is always your shopping bag. Each time you define count, that variable goes inside that shopping bag. So coming back to this this slide, when alien count at the class scope, like alien that one, at that time the shopping bag was called alien, inside position method, your shopping was not alien, it was an instance of that shopping bag. And planet, inside initialize, your shopping bag is an instance of planet, but outside with the alien bag, the bag is alien itself. And each time you declare something with at the rate something, it goes inside and gets stored in that shopping bag. Clear? Okay? So here we have this. So the output is what? Next slide. I'm going to talk, the plan was to talk about instance, class instance variable. So whatever you define in this bag called alien, because the classes themselves are objects, what you define in this bag called alien, they are called class instance variables. Okay? They are, so when you subclass this class called alien, that guy gets its own new bag, okay? It doesn't share the bag that alien has created. And whatever you define inside this alien count will not be available to that guy. So if I subclass this alien class, this whatever I have alien count I have initialized to 0, right? That value will be nil there. Okay? So if I say alien count, we are going to see output as 1. Okay? Now the last thing is that class variables. When you there's a bag called, so Ruby has different bags. In fact, it's just not one bag. So there's a bag. So in the at class scope alien, there was a bag to store the instance variables, and there is a separate bag Ruby has for storing class variables actually. So at the rate planet, when you use double at the rates, that as well belongs to that class called alien. Okay, it doesn't goes to the instances of aliens. It belongs to the class itself, but it goes in a different bag. Okay, where this class variables are stored. Now this bag, if you subclass at alien, as Sidhu was saying, this bag is shared with all the subclasses actually. So if you subclass this alien class, you are going to get that guy will be as well planet Mars. Now the funny thing is, if any of your subclasses change this at the rate planet to something new, okay, then all the up to superclass, everything will change.
So that's the reason why it's so scary, right? Like, is there anybody here who thinks global variables are a good idea? No, right? Like, we're past that particular question. This is kind of a global variable across the entire class hierarchy for that.
Yeah.
So if you have a class hierarchy, an inheritance hierarchy, and you put an attack variable in any of them, in the parent class, that is a global variable across all the classes. And that's what makes it so scary.
I'll give you an example where for example, it is used. Like, not now, but like until 2.3, Rails used to store the database connections in class variables actually. So each time you subclass user or how many things you create from active record base, all of them have this variable called connection that you can access using active record base.connection, and that nothing but refers to this class variable. It is now an instance variable, and there is a thread pool now, so it gets copied and there's like bunch of
wrapped around active base connection.
Pardon?
It's wrapped around the active base connection.
Yeah. It's a
So
pool.
there's an access mechanism. You don't directly
You
access.
cannot directly access it. Make sense?
So I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why you will not see too many examples of
At the
double
rate.
at.
But the distinction should be clear. When you want a variable that should be shared across entire class hierarchy, then you generally use this thing at the rate. And in some cases, I have to say that that class variables are not exactly global. In a way, they are global for the entire class hierarchy scope, of course. But sometimes you do
need them.
Yeah. And in which case you have them. But in general, you should prefer this thing. One more thing of very important that I have seen people doing about this is, especially Rails guys, they tend to store sometimes by mistake. They don't understand this. They will store things like some class state in class or instance variable in controllers actually. For example, user sign in, they'll store that data. Let's say there are 10 users are coming in to take a test. I have seen this newbie mistake where what they will do is each user who is coming in, they will store in a class variable or a class instance variable. They'll just append each request come, they'll just put that in the append it. Now remember this, these guys, class variables and class instance variables belong to the class object themselves. Okay? They are never garbage collected. They are never free. They stay until your program is killed. Okay? Remember this. So whatever you
You can
define
create
in,
memory leaks trivially.
so you can whatever you define in class alien at that point in time, remember this, that whatever you define as class variable or class instance variable, never garbage collected.
Of course, it's going to break fundamentally in any kind of sensible deployment situation because you have multiple processes and none of this is shared.
But of this, I did this initially when I started Slack program. I stored the user session in a class video. It was working fine because there was a single thread application normally which is single company working. Because the same application class is not being reloaded, so the data stays there. The moment you have something like Apache Passenger, which will have multiple processes running, this is not shared across.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, but exactly.
I've done this. So
I have done that as well, like a long time back, and I'll warn you that it's a very source of memory. You're leaking memory. You're writing potentially unthread safe code. So your code, whatever you define in class variables or class instance variable, is basically thread unsafe actually. Accessing them unless you are like doing some thread log mutex you put there, it's all thread unsafe. So you have to be very careful using this thing. If for example you're planning to use JRuby and planning to put your use a JRuby web server which is capable of doing things multi-threaded, and you are storing some things inside, this class instance variable or class variables, you're going to get stuck. Okay?
I think sometimes it's
Pardon?
Class variable
And class instance variables. Yeah. What is that?
difference.
So the difference is very, I think, okay. So single alien count that you see in the code, you can see, right?
Yeah.
That is a class instance variable.
It is like, remember we were talking about everything being a shopping bag, right? The class instance variable is, we're just putting class before the instance variable to let you know it's in a special shopping bag. It's no different.
I think we better put
It is an instance variable except that it happens to be in a class.
Yes.
Okay?
Just an instance.
Sorry, happens to be in an instance of class. Just to be absolutely clear that I'm not confusing you. Add is special. It is special.
The bag is special. It's not the same bag. It's a different bag. And whenever you subclass it, the parent class will give its bag to the subclass. They take this bag. Basically, there is no bag. There's no. I'm saying as if copies are made, which are not copies are not made. There is one bag, and which is shared between all the guys actually, and everybody puts there. So if you go and modify existing variable there, it will be reflected across all of this. Okay. Okay. So for more reference, like please read this basic object doc that is there on Google, and thanks to Jasmine for this, and it explains very well how some of these ideas work. And Ruby 1.8 does not have basic objects. We did not talk about meta classes, but that's a topic of its own. Really, I think we need solid 2 hours to explain meta classes properly. So